So students, today in this class, we'll be discussing about cloud computing. It's a very interesting term, and basically everything you are seeing nowadays around yourself, it's driven by cloud computing technologies, either directly or indirectly. How? I will explain it very shortly. First, let us try to understand what is cloud computing. Two terms are there. Computing, it's related with computers, the processing that computer does. Now, when the computer does the processing from the cloud, it's called cloud computing. So, does it mean that we are having processors on cloud now? No, it's not like that. We are having servers. We are having distributed servers all around the globe, and using those distributed servers, what companies or resource providers, service provider are trying to do, irrespective of what device you are using, irrespective of where you are using it, you will able to utilize the services provided by the company. If you talk about Google services, take example of Gmail, the mail services, whether you are using a desktop or using a mobile phone or a tablet, irrespective of where you are using it, in the office, in the house, while you are on a move, traveling somewhere, you will able to utilize it. Why? Because the service is provided through clouds and it is a cloud based service, so you will get it everywhere, every time, in every device. You talk about Google Drives. Google Drive, in Drive you are having sheet or Word documents are there. You can simply type a Word document and share it. So using these documents you can take your works on the cloud. When you are working the local version of these softwares, you are using Excel, you are using MS Word, and then your task was localized. Your work environment was local. You were working in your office in the system. Whenever you have to sort your work, you will have to carry the laptop. You'll have to carry your work in a pen drive, in a CD drive, but it's not a requirement anymore. That those days are gone now. You simply work with online version of these services, the cloud version of these services, and you will be working, your work will be saved on internet directly. And wherever you want to utilize it, simply it's just a link sharing. You can create a link, share and distribute that link, and everywhere those services are available. So basically, cloud computing, it is a internet-based computing whereby shared resources, software, and information are provided to computer and other devices on demand, like electricity grid. If you have seen an electricity grid, smart electricity grid, there you can, if you are having increased consumption for few days, you can increase your demand and you will get the services and you'll have to pay for it. So in the same manner, you can utilize the services as and when required, and you will pay for it. If you think about Netflix, so it's an on-demand movie services. Otherwise, the regular movie services, they are not on demand. Or if you talk about any other OTT channels, they are on demand content provider. So basically, a basic definition of cloud computing is the use of internet for the task you perform on your computer for storage, retrieval, and access. So basically, internet means your computer, your environment, it is network. You are working in a network environment, and the cloud represents the internet. Basically, wherever you are getting the facility of internet, wherever you are having access of internet, you can utilize the devices, you can utilize the services, or you can utilize the network. Cloud computing is a name for an old concept, the delivery of computing services from a remote location. So basically, in remote location, what was happening? You may get connected to that remote device and do the task. But now that remote location, that remote device, it is spread all over the network using internet. Simply connected to internet, and you can connect with that remote location very easily and do your task. This is a common cloud computing infrastructure where we are having a platform. What kind of services we can provide? We can give applications on demand, we can give infrastructure on demand, runtime environment on demand, databases on demand, object storage we can provide. Somebody can provide financial services, monitoring services, and how they can be utilized using servers, desktop, tablets, phones, laptops. So this is the cloud based services. Now, what are the characteristics of cloud computing? So basically, you will see 5 essential characteristics are there. On demand, self-service. First of all, on demand and self-service. User are able to provision, monitor and manage computing resources as needed without the help of human administrator. The service is totally on demand. Once you are requiring it, you will be getting it, and it is a self-service. You will be getting it automatically. You will not have to intervene by yourself, or from the service provider side also nobody will have to interfere or do the things. It will automatically will provided as the services. Now, broad network access. Computing devices services are delivered over standard network and heterogeneous devices. These services that you are getting from the cloud, they are available through heterogeneous devices. You're able to utilize it from different devices. You can utilize it on standard networks also. So whether you are using a phone network, whether you are using a area local network, computer network, whether it is combination of both of it, hardly matters. You will get your services. Rapidly static elasticity. IT resources are able to scale out and in quickly on as needed basis. So these services, if somebody require a very small portion of a service, then it can be provided. If the same user is now needing a very large portion of the services, then the service provider will able to scale out. It means will able to grow himself to provide those services on demand. Then we are having resource pooling. These resources, IT resources, are shared across multiple applications and tenants in a non-dedicated manner. So you are able to share the resources with multiple applications or users, and those are not dedicated. If somebody else require those services, then it will be provided because it's scalable also. Then measured services, you will able to measure how much you will utilize, what are the charges for that, how long it has been utilized. So utilization is tracked for each application and tenant, typically for public cloud billing or private cloud chargeback. So very easy to calculate the amount or resources utilized and charges calculated. Examples: Google Drive, iCloud, Microsoft OneDrive. Now, whatever example you are seeing here, they are simply storage provider. They provided storage. Google Drive 15 GB is free. You can utilize it as a free user. But more than that, if you want to utilize, then you will have to purchase on a per month basis. Maybe for 100 GB per month, it will cost you 130 rupees per month. Same way, these all are service provided for storage. Now, the client consists of hardware and software that accesses cloud services. A client can be a thick client or a thin client depending upon the network it is utilizing. What kind of network it is connected to. A thick client refers to fully functional computer on each desk, where a thin client machine provides just a functionality needed to accomplish the necessary task. So here, thick client, it means the computer is connected with a fully functional network, fully functional desktop or device. Thin net, the network or the device, they are not fully functional, but essential services will be provided there. Now, what are different type of cloud services that somebody can utilize? So there are three types of cloud services. First, software as a service. In first category, we are providing software as a service. So these are softwares which you will have to install in your computer and utilize it. But if you'll utilize, you'll have to pay the license fees. So to avoid that, you can utilize these services or software as much as you need, and then the cost will be very less. In this type of services, a complete application is offered to the customer as a service on demand. You are providing it as service on demand, and it's also called SaaS, SaaS, service as a software as a service. So the service provider, they provide the services or application through internet. You'll have to pay and use it. Some example of our office applications online, use email services online to send bulk message, web conferencing, customer relationship management, project management, invoicing, and some more. Examples are Google, Salesforce, Microsoft, Zoho. These are professional softwares which are utilized for office communications. Other examples are Google Apps, Microsoft Office 365, Zoho One, Zoho CRM, Salesforce Customer 360. So you can utilize it and pay as per your utilization. Rather than paying the license fees, you will have to pay as much as you are utilizing. Then we are having platform as a service. So here what is being provided, the entire platform for software development, the operating system, the programming language environment, the hardware maybe, they all are being provided as a hardware or software platform so that somebody can do its development work. In this type of services, a development environment is offered as a service upon which higher level of service can be built. It is called PaaS, platform as a service, and it will include typically the operating system, programming language, execution environment, database, and web server. So basically, these are the things which are required to create a software, to create an application or a system. And why we are using PaaS? Because many times it may happen that I may not have enough resources in my system, or I may not have enough expertise also to set up all the environment individually and utilize them collaboratively for software development. But what is happening here? The entire infrastructure is there for use. You can use the entire platform for the software development. The customer had freedom to build his own application, run on provider's platform, and to maintain the manageability and scalability requirement of the application. It offers predefined combination of OS, application server, such as LAMP platform. LAMP is a very famous platform, and it is short form for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. These are programming language environment. Linux is operating system, Apache is a web server, MySQL is a database management language, PHP is a web development language. You will be learning about it very shortly. Not all of them, but in a very summarized way, you will be learning about those things. Then restricted J2EE Ruby. Examples of PaaS are AWS, Elastic, Beanstalk, Windows, Azure, Heroku, Force.com, Google App Engine, Apache Status. So using this environment, many of them are free also to some extent. And once you are using them in a very extensive manner, you will have to pay. So you can utilize this Windows Azure environment to create many type of development, but cloud-based development. Same will be for AWS also, Azure Window Systems. So using PaaS as a services, you can utilize the platform to create many software and applications. Next category is infrastructure as a service. So here IaaS, infrastructure as a service. It provides basic storage and computing capability and standard services over network. On internet, you will get the entire infrastructure of the computer and you can utilize it. Suppose you do not want to create you are having new business and you do not want to have the infrastructure, whole infrastructure in your system, then you can lend the infrastructure, take them on lease and utilize it. So this infrastructure as a service provides the computing infrastructure, physical and virtual machines like server and other resources like virtual machine, disk image library, blocks and file-based storage, firewalls, load balancers, IP addresses, virtual area, local area network, and so forth. So basically, whatever is required as infrastructure in a computer system for a normal business environment, everything you will be getting just by paying a very small amount of money. Examples are Amazon EC2, Windows Azure, Rackspace, Google Compute Engine, and many more. So basically at this moment, the understanding will be very limited about these resources, software, platform or infrastructure. But when you spend a lot of time on computer and you see how things work, how services are provided, and you are very deeply involved with the working of those services, then you understand how those are working as the backbone of entire services. SaaS, highly scalable. What are the characteristics? Highly scalable, internet-based applications are hosted on cloud and offered as services to end user, like Google Docs, Acrobat.com, Salesforce.com. So now you do not have to install them. You can use them on online as a service. PaaS, here we are having platform which is used to design, develop and build and test applications and are provided as a cloud infrastructure. Azure Window Platform, Force, Google App Engine. Then infrastructure as a service, it will provide the entire infrastructure like storage, database management, then LAN, then IP addresses, everything. For example, Amazon Web Services, GoGrid, 3 Tera. These are the examples. Now, what are different types of clouds? How many types of network I can use? How many types, in how many ways these services can be provided? So first is private cloud. Second is, first is public, then private, and then hybrid cloud. What is private cloud? It consists of computing resources used exclusively owned by one business or an organization. You are using services or the clouds, series or combination of networks which is owned by one single business or an organization, mostly a private organization. In a private cloud, the service, the infrastructure are always maintained on a private network and the hardware and software are dedicated solely to one organization. Everything will be utilized for one single organization. Now, private clouds are often used by government agencies, financial institutions, and other mid to large size organizations with business critical operations seeking enhanced control over their environment. Private cloud, also known as internal or enterprise cloud, and resides on company's internet. It will be always on the company's internet and hosted data center, and they will be protected behind a firewall so that others cannot utilize it. Then public cloud, what will happen there? Public cloud, it refers to a common cloud service which is made available to multiple subscribers. Public means accessible to all in general. The cloud resources are owned and operated by a third-party cloud service provided and delivered over internet. In a public cloud, you share the same hardware, storage, and network devices with other organizations, and you use the same cloud and called tenants. So basically, the public cloud, it can be utilized by multiple organizations simultaneously. The platform, the software, the infrastructure, the hardware, the storage, they can be utilized by multiple organizations in a shared manner, and they are called tenants. Public cloud deployments are frequently used to provide web-based email, online office application, storage, testing, and development environment. So basically, public and private, it's the difference between the ownership. Public, there nobody have the ownership. The cloud belongs to a third party, and other are utilizing it by paying some rent on a monthly basis. But private cloud, other will not be utilizing it. It will be owned by a single company to provide its services. The software, the hardware, everything will be owned by that company. Then we are having hybrid also. Hybrid will be combination of both of it, where a part of the cloud will be owned by the company and a part of it will be leased or provided to other parties on rental basis. So before going for blockchain, you need to understand blockchain is a distributed ledger system which is based on a peer-to-peer networking model. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? सबसे पहले peer to peer समझें. peer का मतलब होता है फ्रेंड्स. एक क्लासरूम में सारे फ्रेंड्स जो हैं सबका लेवल एक ही है, सारे peers हैं, सब एक तरह का यूनिफॉर्म पहनते हैं, एक तरह के सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ते हैं, एक ही टाइम पे पढ़ते हैं, एक ही रूटीन को यूज करते हैं, एक ही रूल्स को फॉलो करते हैं. तो पीयर टू पीयर में क्या होता है, सबका वैल्यूज एक है और सबको इन नेटवर्क में एज ए पीयर पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं ना. हियर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड लीजर का मतलब क्या हो गया? लीजर का मतलब होता है रजिस्टर, किसी भी चीज का रजिस्टर. बच्चों का अटेंडेंस रख लिया है तो वो भी एक लेजर ही है. और जब उसको हम लोग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड कर दिए हैं कि वो अटेंडेंस जो है सारे लोग देख सकते हैं, हर एक क्लास का टीचर देख सकता है, देन बिकम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. अभी देखने के बाद यदि मैं उस पर कोई काम कर रहा हूँ तो वो विजिबल है सारे लोगों को. अभी एक एग्जांपल पहले देखते हैं. हसन एंड नितिन were friends since their school days. During their adulthood, they were also doing business together. All their financial transactions took place through ABC XYZ Bank, where both Hasan, Nitin, and their client made financial transactions. One day, common client of Hasan and Nitin hacked their financial data from bank and forged it. It led to heavy losses and trust violation of clients. एक नॉर्मल सिनारियो है जहाँ पे दो फ्रेंड हैं और उन लोगों बड़े होके वो लोग जो काम कर रहे हैं किसी बैंक के साथ, दोनों बैंक का अकाउंट उसी जगह पे है, उनके क्लाइंट्स का अकाउंट भी वहीं पे है. और इन सम डे किसी क्लाइंट ने फाइनेंशियल डेटा जो है हैक करके उसका यूज कर लिया, मिसयूज कर लिया. After some time, Hasan and Nitin decided to continue the same business, but this time they decided that every time a financial transaction will take place, each connected client will get printed copy of it. तो उन्होंने क्या कर दिया, बिजनेस मॉडल को शेयर कर दिया है. वो बता रहे हैं कि जब भी कोई ट्रांजेक्शन होगा तो वो हिडन ना रह के, वो सिर्फ बैंक और उस पार्टी तक ना रह के, अब वो हर एक आदमी के पास जाएगा जिससे जो उससे जुड़ा हुआ है. In that manner, it is distributed now. क्या डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड हो गया? द लीजर, जिसपे हम लोग मेंटेन कर रहे हैं कि कितना पैसा डाला गया, निकाला गया. तो हर एक पार्टी जो उससे जुड़ा हुआ है उसको पता है अब इतना पैसा निकला है अकाउंट से, इतना पैसा गया है अकाउंट पे. दो ऑल आर अवेयर, और कहीं पे भी लग रहा है रॉन्ग डूइंग हो रही है तो दे कैन फ्लैग, वो अपना एक मैसेज जनरेट कर सकते हैं कि नहीं, ट्रांजेक्शन सही नहीं हुआ है. तो अभी एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड मैनर में ये कंट्रोल किया जा रहा है और सिर्फ ये दो पार्टी तक नहीं रह गया है, इसमें सारे पार्टी इन्वॉल्व हैं जो उस ट्रांजेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. Every time a new transaction take place, all available financial data is compared with existing ledger. जब भी ट्रांजेक्शंस हो रहे हैं तो फाइनेंशियल डेटा सब जगह पे कंपेयर हो रहा है, ना कि सिर्फ बैंक के साइड पे और क्लाइंट के साइड पे. If someone tries to forge data, then it data will not match all copy of decentralized distributed ledger. अभी कोई कुछ फोर्ज कर भी रहा है तो सारे लोगों के साथ मैच नहीं करेगा, वो एक सिस्टम के पास फोर्ज कर रहा है, लेकिन सारी चीजें अभी डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड हैं, सबके पास एक एक कॉपी है जिसमें डिटेल्स हैं, शेयर डिटेल्स. तो वहां से हम लोग चेक करके और मैसेज जनरेट कर सकते हैं कि कुछ गलतियां हुई हैं. Now in second style of financial transaction क्या हमने देखा कि the financial transaction ledger is not centralized location like a bank but is distributed and available in all connected client. हमारे ब्लॉकचेन में क्या यूज किया जा रहा है कंसेप्ट कि हमारा जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन है वो सिर्फ लिमिटेड नहीं है बैंक तक, अब वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है, वो सारे पार्टीज इन्वॉल्व हैं और सबके पास उसका डिटेल है. एवरी ट्रांजेक्शन डिटेल इज सेंट टू ऑल द कनेक्टेड क्लाइंट. जो भी डिटेल्स हो रहे हैं, ट्रांजेक्शन हो रहे हैं, उसका डिटेल हर एक के पास जाएगा जो कि उसके डेटाबेस में कनेक्टेड है उस ट्रांजेक्शन के साथ. Each new block is chained with earlier existing block. जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ है नया वो पुराने ट्रांजेक्शन के साथ जोड़ा जाएगा. Using chains, using blocks, they are called blocks. Each transaction is a block and they are connected using chains. It's called a blockchain technology, where all the blocks are connected together to ensure that flow of transactions are always legitimate. Now, what are the key terms of blockchain technologies? सबसे पहला है what is blockchain? It is a decentralized and digitized public ledger. ये decentralized है यानी बहुत सारी जगहों पे फैला हुआ है. Digitized है, it means it is computer based. Public ledger system, public है मतलब लोगों के पास फैला हुआ है, and ledger system है, it means it's a reporting system, it's a database storing system. फॉर ईच ऑफ द ऑनलाइन ट्रांजेक्शन, जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन कर रहे हैं ऑनलाइन, सारे चीजों के लिए हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं, बट मोस्टली फाइनेंशियल होते हैं, बट इट कैन अप्लाइड ऑन एवरी बिजनेस दैट यू आर डूइंग. नाउ व्हाट इज अ ब्लॉक? नाउ नेक्स्ट important term is a block. So basically a block refer to the secure data chunk that stores encrypted detail. It's logical data. It's a chunk of data where the transaction details are stored, and it will have a two part, a header which is public to all, which will be shared with everybody, and private detail which will be accessible only to the owner of the block. Now what is a blockchain? It is a group of linked blocks. Multiple transactions are, when they are linked together, then they make a blockchain, and they are related to each other, and they are arranged in a linear chronological manner. It means the recent thing will be on the top, then the least recent things will be date wise, they will be managed. It is a public ledger. All confirmed transactions linked block. Since the first transactions are available in the form of blockchain, it's a public ledger available to all the users connected with that particular transactions. Next term is mining. This is the process of confirming a transactions after validation. Once you have confirmed the transactions after validation, it is called mining and adding to the public ledger. So once you have done the transactions and all the parties they have approved it as a valid transactions, then it will be written down in the database and it will be called the process of mining. Next is P2P network, peer-to-peer network. So in this network environment, every network, every service or that computer is equally valuable, equally responsible. It's not the server which is managing the entire network. Every network it is also doing the task of server also. The P2P network is the type of network used in blockchain technology. It is a distribution network where each participant computer within the network maintain, approve and update the new entry. Here all the computer, all the participants, they will maintain, they will approve and update the new entries, the new transactions. So they all are equally in if you think about their values, they all are equal. So that's why they are called peer. How blockchain technology works? So basically here, a block is a secure data chunk storing encrypted details, and a block is created when user initiates a transaction. Once it is initiated, all the details will go to the connected users. A block gets connected with a blockchain as a permanent database only after validation. Once we have done a transaction, the detail will go to all the participants. They will verify it, they will update it. Once it will be updated, it will be validated and the transaction will be initiated and it will be confirmed. Each block contained a hash of previous block. What is a hash? It's a computer method of storing data or storing information. Hashing is a strong encrypting mechanism. Hashing is not only encrypt, it also makes forgery impossible because hashing cannot be reversed. So it is keeping a encrypted database of previous transactions also. So here blockchain has complete information about different users and addresses, their balances right from the origin. So rather than just having the database or transactions, it is having all the records from the very beginning, how money started movement, where it is moving now, how it is being utilized. So it's very difficult to do any kind of forgery in this environment. So what is the entire chain? Some will request for the transactions. The requested transaction is broadcasted. The transaction that you want to do, it will broadcast it. It will go to multiple parties here, 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 and here. The network of node, they will all check it and they will validate. Once it will be validated, then the transaction will be verified and it may involve cryptocurrency, it may involve encryption, and once it will be verified, then it will be updated. The new block will be added to the existing mechanism and then the transaction will be completed. And suppose the transaction, it is not verified, then it will not be completed. Now what is a cryptocurrency? It is a medium of exchange created historic and electronically in the blockchain using encryption technique to control the creation of monetary unit to verify the transfer of fund. Bitcoin is the best example. So how bitcoins are utilized, how digital currency are utilized. We'll be learning in the benefit of blockchain technologies. First of all, increased time and effectiveness to the real-time transactions. Our effectiveness, it increases. Secondly, direct transaction eliminate overhead. So the overhead which are involved in general transaction, those are not there. Risk of cyber crimes are reduced. Now these processes are very transparent and they are we are using cryptographic and decentralized method to ensure that transactions are very safe